I was like, guys,
Yes.
it's been 4 hours. This
Oh
is
no, I'm on board. I'm on board with his family.
Welcome to the virtual compound. Today, we wanted to share our family's holiday traditions and how we came to create them based on the joining of families and duty stations. Hey, what is today? It's Monday. I completely lost track of time. It is Monday at 9:11 a.m. in Maryland.
And it is also Monday at 11:11 p.m. in Okinawa.
Yes, she is staying up late for this one. Lacey is not going to be with us this morning because she is still growing a human being and needs her sleep. So we're letting her have a pass on this one today.
Yes.
But Lacey will bring up some of the stuff she's talked about in the past, and she gave us notes for herself today. She talked about her holiday tradition of getting everybody ornaments for the year and writing up the little stories. She kind of talked about that with what she did with Clara and Josh. Okay, I don't actually remember if I put that in the episode or not. So if I didn't put it in the previous episode, everybody forgive me because I listened to all of these episodes a couple times and I get to relive them and I laugh and I look like an idiot sitting there all by myself laughing at all of us and nobody has a clue what's going on because I have in my headphones. So um, Lacey got, you'll have to remind me, she got butter for Clara, right?
Yes. Yes. Butter for Clara and an armadillo for Josh.
Right.
Because she gets
And
ornaments. And she like
yes,
always writes about how, they actually both kids still have their notes like posted to the back of their doors so they can read them. But she writes notes about like what the ornament means, and it's always something. She was saying how it's always something about their personality, or just about that year. Um, yeah, and the notes she wrote to the kids are really really sweet.
yeah, I remember her
And
talking about that a little bit. I was like, that's really
yeah,
awesome. She
it
like,
is. It's really sweet.
um,
Um,
but
because both of my
this,
kids, like, I wound up with children that are like opposite love languages from what I am.
right?
You know, like they're both heavy like words of affirmation, physical touch people, and I'm like, don't
Get away
touch me
from
and
me.
don't talk to me.
I have my
Like,
bubble, both auditory and physically. Just stay over there.
don't touch me.
Yeah,
Don't talk to me. Bye.
yeah.
Um,
Thus, the
well,
antisocial dance mom shirt that she wears, which is
yes,
perfect.
I love it. It's my favorite shirt. Um, but yeah, and they love it so much, and it's so sweet. And she does that for her kids also. Obviously, that's why it's her tradition.
Right.
Um,
But
yeah, it's really cool.
and she had that. Who did she say it was? Her aunt that used to do it for her, if I remember correctly, or it was a family member. I'm sorry, Lacey, when you come back to listen to this and we get it wrong, you can correct me publicly. But it's a tradition that a family member did for her growing up, and through moves, this again, the duty station and PCSs they're not easy on any of our stuff, especially Christmas ornaments, because they get to be so like dainty or, breakable. So when they started coming out with the shatterproof ornaments, that was the best thing they could do for a military family or any family that moves on
Yes.
essentially a regular basis. Um, and so it's a really cool thing that she's transitioned over into her traditions with her own family. I do ornaments. I have done it before, I guess we got married, but ornaments for like places we visit that are big or unique experiences and usually try to get one for each place that we live. So not necessarily one added for every year, but something, if we go to like we went to all of us went to England this year. Different times, weirdly. Like all four of us were in England, but we were not there all at the same time. But we did get ornaments for Cambridge and London because everybody was in London at some point. And so we have those ornaments, but we don't have a new one for Maryland. Like we've been here before. We didn't necessarily do that. So that's kind of how our ornament tradition goes, is it's more based off of like the memories that will be attached to the experience, hopefully.
I don't have an ornament
You
tradition.
don't have an ornament tradition. That's
I mean,
okay.
kind of, I guess, like there's a Danish company they come out with an ornament every year and a plate. It's a porcelain company, so
Hmm.
thus the plate.
Right.
Um, and I get the ornament and the plate every year from my dad, but I don't really know if it's a tradition. I didn't bring them to Okinawa.
But has he been sending them to you in Okinawa?
No.
No.
So I assume he's been getting them and
Like
like
keeping them.
putting our storage unit is where my parents live,
Mm.
um, for the stuff that we didn't want to bring to Okinawa. So I assume that he's been putting them in there.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he hasn't, and I'm just like not gonna have them for 6 years.
I mean, I kind of feel like the anti-hoarder Amelia side is okay with this.
I like those because I liked the ornaments
Hmm.
and that they all match and that they're all the same color
Okay,
and
I'm
like a
gonna.
general style.
What is the brand and how do you spell it?
So it's called Bing and Grondal. I want to make sure that I spell it right because I'm dyslexic.
G-R-E. No. Oh, no, it's the weird Danish O.
Oh yeah.
N-D-A.
Yeah.
Yes? That one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Ooh, yes. That is pretty. I wonder what the
It's
process is
pretty,
to making
right?
those. I bet it's quite the process.
Yeah.
I won't steer us off too far, but those are really pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice, very nice. Royal
Yeah.
Copenhagen. Well, do you have other traditions? So you have that. Do you have another one like a Christmas Eve or a leading up to Christmas or something that you do?
We always get to open a present because in Denmark, the way you get presents is the Nissa, that are elves, live in your like attic or in your barn, and they kind of cause mischief all year.
Of
It's
course
kind
they
of like
do.
Elf on the Shelf. Like I think she might have stolen this from like the Nordic Nissa.
Right.
Um,
Who look a lot like
because
gnomes for anybody who don't like, but like
yeah,
TV
and
show gnomes. They're really cute.
I think like Sweden and Norway have like something like a Nissa, but they live and they don't just come out in the winter. They live all year, like in your barn, and then they go while you're at church to the North Pole, and they get your presents, and they bring them back if you have been good,
Right.
and then they put them under the tree, and you open them Christmas Eve. So we got to open our presents from like our Danish family on Christmas Eve, and my kids get to open one present on Christmas Eve. And then in Denmark, presents like are and obviously every family doesn't Danish family doesn't do this, but ours did, and I think it's like a more culturally appropriate. You uh like everyone opens one gift at a
One
time.
gift at a time.
And when you have your Christmas dinner, your dessert is like a rice pudding. It's like a hot rice pudding with cherry sauce on top. And you hide an almond in it. And then whoever gets the almond gets to be the person that passes out the presents.
Ah. But are these like
So
pre-dished up like servings or it's like one big serving, you
sometimes
just
it's
scoop
like
it?
it's pre-dished up. You just like chuck it in one. You don't know,
Okay.
like,
And then you do like hidden cups and like mix them around and don't really
I
pay
think you
any
just pass
attention
it out. Like, you don't really remember
which one it
because
is.
it's like your entire family
Right.
comes together for Christmas Eve, like everybody.
Or everybody in the club getting
Right?
omelets.
You can have a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, and or it's like, yeah, it's in a big like a tureen.
Okay.
Um,
So then what happens if it's
Probably.
in the tureen and it sinks to the bottom and nobody gets it?
I mean, that I think that's why you kind of chuck it in a dish.
Okay.
I'm
Because,
trying
yeah.
to remember because like I was never a part of the making it process,
Okay.
and it was always in someone's dish. So
Yeah. How
I
many how many Christmases did you get to spend in Denmark?
Oh, so I can't even count.
Lots. So we'll just say lots, like
So many.
so many. So,
Yeah.
this is a tradition that is like part of you, not one of those where you're
Yes.
like one or two Z times that you're just
Yeah.
remembering, but this was like a
Yeah,
common
yeah.
tradition. So
Very
that's,
common tradition. I
yeah,
liked it a lot. I like it a lot.
that's
My
good.
kids, I don't know if they like rice pudding. Maybe I'll try it this year with them.
There's probably a Japanese thing you could do instead, but still like keep that as the like
I know, but
if they don't like rice pudding, but they like something else that's Japanese, it might be something you could combine the
yeah,
two.
combine the two.
Yeah.
Also, we don't rip the wrapping paper.
That that would be tough, like at all.
No,
So what
we
happens
don't
if
rip
you
the
have
wrapping
like
paper.
really tough tape and it
I
does
mean,
rip?
if you accidentally rip the wrapping paper, but
Does it take away all of your presents?
you don't rip the wrapping paper. You gotta like carefully open the wrapping paper. You don't rip the wrapping paper.
Yeah. How do the kids do with that?
Um, they neither one of them rip the wrapping paper. They open it nicely.
Was that like a thing, a skill you had to teach them? Like at 2 years old, you're like, wait, 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 Josh, you have to like very slowly
I think because we each open our gifts individually, they like just kind of learned from like
watching.
osmosis,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah. And was Sam
And
on
there's also
board?
like, the southern looks of like
What are you doing? Yes. Then
the
it
southern
makes
mom, like, don't do that.
yeah. The Southern mom while you're learning a different country's traditions, like
Yes,
the half of
yes.
you traditions, or I guess for them it's quarter, but whatever. Close enough.
Yeah,
Although it's
close enough.
yeah. What about
Sam did not do well.
he did not do well.
No. I mean, I think the first Christmas that he spent with us, he like panic watched everyone open their presents and like no one tore anything because we're all adults at this point.
Right.
Well, I guess my sister's like like 17 or 18 the
Oh,
first time he had
pretty close
Christmas
to
with us. So
understand
like
though.
pretty, yeah. And he's just like watching these presents get opened and be like, okay. It took him for freaking ever to open a gift. And I was like, dude, you're gonna have to speed it up, man.
See, that reminds me of like Wyatt's side of the family. They do one at a time, but it's not like, okay, it's open, move on to the next person. It's like, we will now spend 30 seconds to 5 minutes talking about your present before we move on to the next one. And
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
he and I started dating when we were 16. So like I spent some Christmas time with him probably that year was the first time that I did at least some Christmas with them. And my family, we rip paper. We don't always, like I don't unless it's a paper that like is a giant box that they had to like cobble it together in some weird way. I don't actively try to rip all of the paper necessarily, but I don't fold it up nicely and like keep it to the side like you guys make me feel inferior in my unwrapping abilities. But we we don't tear into it all. We kind of watch everybody, but we don't make a point of telling everybody that they have to wait for each person to go. And so we're done within an hour with everything, with our immediate family stuff. But his parents, after 4 hours, I realized that I was going to have to leave to go back to whatever it was that my family was doing for the rest of the day. And they hadn't made it through like half of the presents by that point. I was like, guys,
Yes.
it's been 4 hours. This
Oh
is,
no, I'm on board. I'm on board with his family. Yeah,
oh, I mean, I'm all
sounds about
down
right.
for like extending it
Sounds
in
about right.
general, but at the same time, it was like, what? And then they'd stop because they would then be like, I need to go get some new coffee. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna need coffee to make it through all of this for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
I love doing that. I really like having it out, but at certain points, it just feels like you're extending it to extend it rather than being like, okay, we're losing touch, especially once Zoe was born and, you know, a, a 7-month old, and then the next year, like not a 2-year old. just can only handle so much of that like overstimulation because they would bring her toy. And I love everybody. When you're listening to this, this is not a criticism. This is just reality of what happened at the time. They would bring her the toy and she'd, get excited about playing with it. And so they'd want to sit there and watch her play with it. But then she was getting, you know, toys from everybody and usually a couple of them. And you can only play with so many toys with a 7-month old and then a 1.5-year old before they just can't take it anymore. And then we'd have to stop and put her down for a nap. And family members did not always understand why we couldn't just keep going, like, because she's a baby and this is way too much for
Um,
her. Like, it
Josh's
has
first
to
Christmas,
change.
he was 7 months old too, yeah.
Yeah.
And but I think because my parents are also practical people, he got like clothes.
Okay. So not like overly stimulating things.
No, I think he got like, and also we don't live by my parents, and I hadn't driven home,
Mm,
like driven home,
right.
so we would like
Couldn't,
everything
had to fly.
had to fly. Also, um, so I think he got like a walker, and that was like shipped to my house.
Okay.
So like he didn't get that until
You got back.
we got
Because
back
you
and
were in
stuff
North
like that.
Carolina at the time, right?
No, El Paso. For Clara, we were in North Carolina, but it was the same situation. Her first Christmas, Sam was actually deployed. And so it's
Mm,
like everything has to be able to come back in a suitcase.
yes. Yeah.
Um,
We do that quite often. Not
yeah.
this year, though. We'll jump backwards because we got off on a little tangent to some of your stuff when it comes to Christmas Eve. I'll go into what Lacey wrote, and they do everybody opens a present Christmas Eve, but she does Christmas pajamas, and then they sit down and have a movie night um, for their Christmas Eve, like single present for everybody. We do Christmas pajamas, but I give them on Thanksgiving night. Like once everything is cleaned up and the kids are ready for bed, even when we go on destinations, I bring them and I put them in a gift bag or just a bag to cover them. Like I don't just walk up and hand them to them. That's no fun. I don't necessarily go like crazy because, last year I was in a camper. I didn't need to be going nuts in a camper. But um, we get Christmas pajamas, typically matching ones. And then because my kids still like each other enough to want to match, and then they get to wear their Christmas pajamas
It's
for the
so
whole year.
cute.
I
They
might
wanna
buy them more, but like yes, so this year they had an idea what was coming because I let them help me pick it out because Lexi wanted a onesie thing and they are Rudolphs. They have little reindeer that we got from Children's Place and they both slept in them last night. They don't even talk about it. They're just like pull them out and sleep in them. I'm like, you guys are so cute. You're so sweet, and I want you to be like this forever. And if you're listening to this, Zoe, because oftentimes you do, I will do this until I can no longer make purchases. So just plan for this for basically the rest of your life. So just know that I will probably forever and ever and ever do this. But that's how we don't always do Christmas Eve gifts because my family, all of my extended family lived in the same place, like except for one or two, and they were usually within driving distance. So Christmas Eve was with my mom's side of the family, and that would be anywhere from 15 to like what felt like 30 people if they had boyfriends or friends that didn't have anywhere to go that night or whatever. We would have extra people there. And then Christmas morning we would see what Santa gave us, and then we would go straight to my other grandparents' house. We never did at home Christmas presents on Christmas Eve, but we would come home, we'd rush home, and I usually had to like rush home and clean my bedroom because it was an absolute pit. And my parents would be like, if your room's not clean, Santa can't come in the house because that's not how that works. I was like, oh, so I'd rush home and like frantically start cleaning my room. And then we would probably bring home cookies from my grandparents' house because none of us thought to make cookies for to leave out. So it was whatever cookies we had at my grandparents' house that my aunt had like made for dessert. We're like, oh right, we need those tonight. So I guess we should bring those. And then we usually had a candy cane to leave with it. And we'd put those out and take our picture next to the little cookie plates. Which I think were actually Tupperware plates, like, you know, old school Tupperware Christmas plates that I my mom might still have, but then they eventually melted in the microwave from us getting them too hot. I don't know if she
That's
still has this. And then that was our
I
Christmas Eve.
we didn't have like specific plates for Santa, but Santa at some point started asking for specific drinks like wine.
Was it like written in a note from the previous year? Or like the Nisa
I
brought it
I
early?
think my parents were like, I feel like Santa wants like a Perrier and a glass of red.
Lovely. That sounds fantastic. Nice little yours was the break house. Like he got all frantic and
Yeah.
then he took a break at your house and like chilled
And
and then went back to it again.
Santa also was very specific about what kind of cookies Santa
Oh.
wanted.
I'm sorry,
Santa did not
Santa.
want
We did not
cookies
have
with
that.
icing.
Oh, like any kind of cookie with icing.
Like
Does
a little bit of a glaze is okay, but
okay. Do Oreos count as cookies with icing?
Santa did not want
No
Oreos
Oreos. Okay.
from my house.
All right.
No,
I
Santa wanted like gingerbread cookies, and then there's Danish cookies that we make. Santa wanted those.
like the Danish cookies you can buy in the tin.
No,
No. Okay. You need to be more specific then because
although funny story,
oh,
my
okay.
uncle, I mean it's not really a story. My uncle, so people always got those for us, like
Because they say
literally every
Danish
Christmas.
on them.
Because they're like, oh, it's like, and they always got them for my dad, like literally every Christmas.
For dad. All these cookies. How many sewing kits can he make? I mean,
Like so many people. Like there was a year, I will literally never forget this. We had like 13
oh my gosh.
of these boxes of cookies. And my dad brought one home, and my mom went, please tell me there's what is that mix that everybody makes for Christmas? It's not puppy chow, but it's like
Oh,
it's kind of spicy.
um, the Chex
But
Mix?
yeah,
Yeah,
Chex Mix, yeah.
yeah,
Like, but you make it. It's not like
yes,
just yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And my mom was like, please tell me there's whatever that's called in there. And he was like, it's not.
You better dump that out and fill it with it real fast.
We like literally couldn't give them away because there's so many.
Oh,
And
yeah,
there's so many of those cookies in there. And you don't like there's only 6 million Danish people in the world. So it's not like you know a bunch of Danish people
right.
running around.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's because it's Denmark and you guys love these cookies. Okay, one, those cookies are actually not super easy to come by in Denmark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I,
Are they some type
and
of like traditional? Do they actually sell them?
yeah, they
I was
do. They
prepared to
sell
think they
them.
was entirely an Americanized thing that we're just like, let's stick a random name on them and say that they're from
No,
there.
no, they sell them. They
Okay.
do. Um, but like your family typically makes them, so like
Okay.
it's not there's not like a huge like market type
Right.
thing for them.
Right.
And my uncle, so my dad's sister's husband, his brother-in-law,
Okay.
worked for the company that makes those cookies.
Oh,
And so the Danish company,
right.
right, that
Right.
makes the cookies. So like he would send us them
Some.
too, and we're like,
Oh my
you guys all
gosh.
have to stop sending us these cookies. We would
Oh,
re-gift them like so hard. I
that,
remember one year I had to bring them to like we had like some sort of like white elephant or like Christmas exchange with like the company at my dance studio.
yeah.
My parents forced me to bring the cookies for like my like when I'm contributing.
Right.
And I brought like literally 2 or 3 tins. And then also for like my white elephant gift.
I love that. I love that so much. That's
It was like
hysterical.
how we got rid of them. But yeah, no, and I actually I think they taste good. Like I don't think they're bad
Right.
cookies. But
That's funny though. Yeah, so does the company, well, we are way off track here, but one more question. Does the company just like almost exclusively export then? Like they don't necessarily make them for
So I really don't know, but I think that they must because I truly don't remember.
seeing them around.
My grandmother made cookies. I truly don't remember having them in Denmark
Right.
ever.
Hmm.
Like,
That's funny.
and also now that could also be tainted by the fact that in Denmark there are bakeries
Mm,
everywhere. That's like where you get your bread and your
okay.
like pastries, you know? And we miss like pastries when we're not in Denmark. So we get
That's
a lot of pastries
yeah.
and things from the bakeries and we get our bread from there.
So you're not
Everyone gets
necessarily
bread
looking
from.
for them in a grocery store
So I'm
anyway.
not really looking for the cookies. So there's that. But yeah, I have no memory of ever having those cookies in Denmark. I've literally only eaten them in America.
That's funny. Well, good to know though. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's good to know, but I also remember not to gift those to you. Not that I would have. It'd be like gifting you a cheese Danish in my mind.
which are not real.
Right. So, I mean, I
Cannot
guess
get a cheese Danish in Denmark.
I
And I
bet,
think you can because it's like a funny haha,
right.
but you can't.
Get authentic cheese Danish.
There's
That's
no
not a
such
thing.
thing as an authentic cheese Danish.
Which, of course,
Also,
is so funny.
Danishes don't exist. They're
What?
like, oh, I bet Denmark sells really good Danishes. Like, they don't.
No.
Do you want to know why they don't? Because there's no such thing as a Danish in Denmark.
Right? It's not.
There's like a pastry that, I guess there's like a pastry that's kind of similar. Yeah, it's close enough, but
But it's not.
it's not a Danish.
That's so funny. It's so funny
I
how that
know.
goes over. Um,
Like
yeah,
all of our friends that we've brought to Denmark are like, I really want to get a Danish, like an authentic one. You
right.
can't. They're like, oh, we won't have time. I'm like, no, you physically cannot
Cannot.
get one. Don't exist.
That's so funny.
Go back to an American gas station.
Or Trader Joe's, because Trader Joe's, when you get back, because I can't send you this, and I know that it's not, and it says it, but Trader Joe's actually has a really good one. It's like huge, but they have a really good one that you should try just for funsies sometime. I know it's not necessarily your thing, but you should try it. Okay, this is written down on here because I've heard this story and I think it's hilarious, so I want you to try to tell it again, though. So
No,
come on, please. So you like everybody does Elf on the Shelf. It's well, everybody except for me. Parent Tack never agree to Elf on the Shelf. Parent Tack
never agreed to help on the shelf.
never agree to that. But you do the star
From afar.
from afar.
Yes.
Yes. So explain Star from Afar because I love this.
Oh, Star from Afar is really great. So, um, it is the Christmas story from obviously like Christian perspective, and you get a nativity and like the star. If you buy like the Star from Afar set, there's a nativity, um, and you hide the star on the either the 1st or the 31st of November, the evening. And you hide it as far away from the nativity as you can get it in your house. Um, and then the kids go and they go and they search your house and they find the star and they bring the wise men to the star. And then whoever in our house, whoever finds the star gets to hide it the next day.
Okay. Like right before
Um,
bed or like,
yeah, like right before bed, they'll
okay,
go hide it. Um, and then you go again the next and the fear in theory, Claire hasn't quite caught on to this yet,
right?
which just infuriates her older brother to no end because he is rules and she's like, meh.
Yes. I think she
Um,
will live by that for the rest of her life, though. So
yeah. In theory, the star is supposed to get closer and closer to the nativity
I see.
as you get closer and closer to Christmas. This is a little difficult in my very small Japanese house. So
Right.
furthest point from the nativity in our house is actually in our master bedroom closet. So like that's where the star started.
Did you measure that by steps? Did you like walk it out by steps and figure out
No, it's just like
all your twisty
from
windies to
because the
get in there?
nativity is in our like dining slash homeschool room.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that makes
so
sense
like,
then.
what is the further like from this point in the house? I was like standing by the nativity. I was like, where would it take me the longest to get to?
Yeah.
And it would take me the longest to get to my closet.
Yeah.
So
Because you
I put
basically
it in
have
my
to do a
closet.
spiral to like,
Yeah,
I'm
you kind
thinking
of have to
like the
like,
walk through, you're basically spiraling.
yes,
It's only a
yeah,
two-story house, everybody, but think of it as a weird spiral.
yeah.
So yeah, I can see
Um,
that.
yeah, and they hide it, and sometimes they hide it well, and other times they really don't. And like,
You
especially
basically
Clara, she's like,
walk
"How
into
did
it
you find it? It's at eye level."
on a blank wall.
Yeah, like on a shelf behind nothing.
Just right there. There it is.
It's right there. And then one, 2 years ago, somebody lost it.
Oh no.
Yeah. And not like lost. They just ever we couldn't like we didn't
Couldn't
know where it
remember.
was hidden. They forgot, and we found it like later. But it's okay because like I've lost baby Jesus several times,
Ah,
you
yes.
know?
Yes.
So I'm like, well, I was raised Catholic, so we're just gonna do like Catholic baby Jesus this year, where he doesn't
He
come until
doesn't come until
Christmas.
Christmas. And hopefully you
And
find him
hopefully
by
I
then.
find him. But like I really don't like it in the nativity sets when it's like the little manger, and I know why. I know why they do it. But I wish that they would say that this is how baby Jesus came. Like baby Jesus separates from the manger, FYI.
Right.
Like I wish that was like advertised.
Right.
So then I could choose to be like, no, I need my baby Jesus to like stay in the manger
Yes.
because I'm going to lose him.
But he's the smallest part of the entire thing. Like
He
it
is the
is,
smallest part.
which is
I'm
also
like,
why you see all those like dog and animal like shaming videos where it's like,
yes,
I ate baby Jesus.
yes. Well, and Clara, like little baby Clara. So we had the like Fisher Price like little nativity set for the kids when
Yeah.
they were little. And Clara would go around and she would like take all the baby Jesuses and put them like in her baby doll crib and tuck them in, which is
Oh,
adorable.
that is
It's so cute. But Amanda had to like go around and find
all the
baby
baby Jesus.
Jesuses while
No,
finding baby
that's
Jesus everywhere, which is good. It's good. Jesus should be infiltrate your home and your heart and your
right.
life. But
But
like finding baby Jesus in your vacuum's a little freaky.
what are you doing? I'm going to watch you. Oh, that's good. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like she put him she tucked them all into like a um tissue box one year.
Oh,
Like
like a
tucked,
Kleenex? Like
yeah,
Kleenex
like a
tissue
Kleenex
box?
box, like tucked them in, like made them a bed.
Aw,
A little Kleenex box. It was very sweet.
I bet it was until
So I
how did
needed some Kleenex.
right, and then you can get to him, and then you're like, do I disturb Jesus?
No,
You never wake the baby,
don't
so
wake a baby, and you don't move Clara's things.
no, this is true.
No,
This
but
is
we did. I did not want to do Elf on a Shelf, but one year for Christmas, it was literally the only thing Clara asked for,
oh.
and I was like, oh no.
Uh-huh. Guess what you're doing for the next couple of years?
So we got an Elf on a Shelf, and her name's Sprinkles.
Sprinkles. Sprinkles, that's cute.
Sprinkles, yeah.
I think I need to send Sprinkles some things for next year. It's
Please
going to
do
be
not.
too late.
Please send Sprinkles nothing.
I mean,
Sprinkles is a low impact elf. Sprinkles just moves around the house. Sprinkles doesn't do much.
well, that's fine, but I could give Sprinkles like a new hat.
I
Sprinkles
will
could have a
accept a
new.
new hat for Sprinkles.
Okay. Sprinkles can have some new outfits. Can fit her out. Um,
Sprinkles can have a hat. We're not changing Sprinkles' outfits.
okay, fine. But you were about to say actually, what were you going to say about Sprinkles? I need to know. I'm
Oh,
invested in Sprinkles.
sorry. Actually, I don't think Sprinkles' hats come off. Oh,
Oh.
There is, so funny story. Sprinkles, because Sprinkles is low impact, and really Sprinkles just kind of moves about the house.
Hmm.
Like she doesn't really do much. Like
Like mess up
maybe
your
just,
house and like leave
yeah,
spaghetti
no. The
everywhere.
most she's done is like she'll leave them candy. Like she left them hot chocolate packets. Like she doesn't, she's very low impact.
You have a very nice elf. I appreciate this. Thank you, elf.
She is
Sprinkles.
nice. She's very kind. She brings gifts and like she doesn't do much. Um, like the other night she gave herself a bath in a bunch of
Sprinkles.
kisses, Hershey's Kisses.
Oh, okay.
Sprinkles is low impact. I love Sprinkles. Low impact. So because Sprinkles moves about the house, one last year, Sprinkles was sitting on the dining room table, and I burn candles in the house, because I really like the smell of candles. And I was unpacking things, and some idiot, me, I'm the idiot, had decided to pack our Christmas ornaments with paper towels. I don't really know why I decided that was a good idea. It doesn't matter. But I was unpacking our Christmas ornaments and I was putting the paper towels on the table and the paper towels caught fire because I put them on top of the pile got big and I just kept adding to the pile
Oh
and the towels
no.
fell over onto the candle and that caught fire, which led to Sprinkles catching fire.
Oh no.
The Sprinkles was on the dining room table.
Oh
So Sprinkles' little hands
no.
are like kind of melted.
Oh, poor Sprinkles.
Her
Just
little body,
Sprinkles needs gloves.
they're kind of
Help.
stuck, kind of stuck to her little body.
Oh no.
Her little feet are kind of singed. She's okay. She came out the other end. She survived. We all survived. Everybody survived.
Everybody's okay. No. Oh, poor
Maybe setting
Sprinkles.
was on fire a little bit. And
Well,
Josh was there with me. And after like it, it wasn't this like huge fire. I
right,
threw a cup of water. I threw the water on it. It's fine.
right.
I looked at him and I was like, "You will not tell your sister." And he was like, he looked at me and I was like, "What? I I'm
Mm.
not above bribery in this moment. What do you want?" She said, "Name your price." Honestly, at this point, name it.
Name it.
Like,
It's yours.
there's a limit, but it's a lot bigger than you think it is.
Right? Oh, man.
And he was like, "I want Sushi Go Round in a new Lego set." I was like, "Sold."
Done. That is, you know what, kid?
Done.
I like that, and I like it for you because that sushi go around in Japan, everybody, is no joke, but also is cheap.
It's so cheap.
Cheap.
It's so cheap. He
Don't do it
he
here.
did a
Just
good job not specifying what Lego set he wanted because he picked out. He didn't pick out something crazy. He could have. And
right.
I would have bought his silence,
That
but
is yeah. All right.
he picked out. I mean,
Sprinkles.
he picked out a little. It was a little pricey,
Yeah, but not too bad.
no, not too bad. I think it was like $45.
Oh, no, that's not bad.
That's
No,
not bad.
that's not bad. Not for
I
Lego,
was,
I
I
mean,
was, I was prepared to spend a little bit more. I
right?
was
That's all right.
really. I thought I was coming home with the Death Star. Not gonna lie.
Seriously?
Or
Seriously?
some. I thought like some. I thought he was gonna like pick out like something that was like 90 or $100, and I
Yeah.
was gonna have to be like, oh, it's what is more worth it, his
Right.
silence or like?
Right.
And he hasn't.
Nothing.
He has not said anything.
Good man.
He's he's okay. Like you can. He'll keep your secret, but Clara, sing like a canary.
You
You can't
know,
trust her
except
with
that she
anything.
did hold strong for you at rehearsal.
She did.
She did hold strong for you at rehearsal. Miss Amelia was not to be found.
No.
She was, I mean, she was, in fact, there, right where she needed to be as a responsible
Yes.
parent. She was just
Yeah.
real low in her seat, and Clara was just zip lips. Good girl.
Where's your mommy? I don't know.
I don't know. Don't know.
I don't know.
I
She
mean,
did. She held that one together, but she'll hold it together for like some like certain things,
right.
but otherwise, like she can't be trusted.
So So if you
Anyway,
want things to slip, Claire is the kid to tell.
yeah.
If
Because
you
it's so situationally dependent, like you can't,
you can't guarantee it necessarily.
no, you really can't. Like, like if she and Lexi were to break something,
Oh man.
right? I think they'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Mm,
And like they would hold it down for each other, right?
yes, very much. Or they would come up with like a scapegoat. They'd find somebody
Yes.
else and 100% blame it on that person.
Sprinkles did it.
Yes, they would. That's exactly what they would do.
Straight faced, like it was
It
Sprinkles.
was
We saw it.
Sprinkles. Yes, that's why her
I
hands are
mean,
now melted
and
to
I
her body.
firmly believe that they would pass a lie detector test
I agree with
also,
you. Yes.
while actively lying.
Yeah.
Um, but if someone else, Claire would be like, no, they're guilty. All right, straight under the bus.
Does anybody doubt why we have gotten them the touch lights that we just
Yes.
opened up? This is why they can still keep their connection through light and not through you know,
Yeah,
the demise of the world.
the demise of the world. They Marco Polo each other, and it's really cute.
It is
Like
cute.
when they Marco Polo every now and then. But like, I have to limit it for Clara because she'll just like for 45 minutes
Yeah,
she'll try to, and I've like had to delete some of the Marco Polos that she sends you because it's like 1 in the morning or whatever
right.
when she sends them. Like she was knitting, listening to a story, recording a Marco Polo for Lexi, and I looked down and it was like 40 minutes. It's like
Oh,
Clara, she's like Lexi wants to hear the story too. Like, I will buy her a Yodo card for this
for
story.
the story. Yeah, she's not wrong. Lexi would,
Yes,
but I don't. That's for a different time and conversation. But
different time, different
um,
conversation.
yeah, they are amazing, and I can't wait to see what their Christmas traditions will be someday because they're going to be hysterical. But
They're gonna
we're
be hysterical.
yeah, but we're gonna wrap back around.
Oh yeah, we are
Um,
doing Japanese KFC.
oh
So
yes,
some KFC marketing genius many, many years ago decided that like, well,
I actually saw the story behind this one time, and I don't
they
remember what it is now, but it was
it
basically
like
bring America to Japan.
yes, bring America to Japan, and like
This was
they don't really
post
understand that
World
like
War II, everybody,
Americans do turkey, not chicken, like blah blah
right?
blah. So some marketing genius was like, get your American chicken
Yeah,
for
for
Christmas, like your
Christmas.
fried chicken for Christmas.
It's a thing. It's a big thing.
And it like took off and it's a huge thing. You like order your KFC bucket
Months,
of chicken
weeks
and
in
like
advance.
months,
Yeah,
weeks, not
weeks.
months,
I think
weeks.
it's weeks, but still.
And the Japanese love it. And we
Yeah.
haven't done it. We said we do it our last Christmas and we don't know.
Well,
Really?
you got to do this. You got to get in there or you're not
So,
going to get one. You may not get one
no, we
now.
did. I ordered it.
You did get one. Okay.
hmm
Okay, good.
I ordered it. So we ordered our KFC Japanese Christmas
Yeah. Did you get
thing.
like the full bucket?
We got the, yes. So this year, the classic Christmas is the bucket of chicken, and it's in like the bucket is like themed Christmas every
Yes.
year.
And it looks
Um,
like American buckets.
yes, but it's like this year it's green and red and white stripes with holly.
Oh, that sounds pretty.
Um, so it's the bucket of chicken and
The
a
sides.
lobster lasagna
Oh, they went real fancy there.
for the side, and then a white tiramisu cake.
Okay. Yes, they do. Christmas cakes are a big thing in Japan too.
Yes, and that comes with it.
Yeah,
So that's the like classic,
food. And then you get the plate.
yes, which is probably going straight in the trash.
Okay, well,
Not
you
gonna
at least
lie.
have to take a picture so we can post it up on Instagram and everybody can see it because mine's sitting
I'll
right in
take a
there.
picture of it. I'll take
They
a picture of it.
they
But
handwrite a
I'm
message on the back of the paper of the container that the plate comes in. They handwrite a message on every one of them. So you'll have to like look at that first,
I'll take a picture.
appreciate. And then the plates are specific to the year.
Yes.
So they're not like a rollover plate. it's new every year, and you
Yeah.
can't buy the plate. They actually, this is such a big deal that they shut down all the KFCs when it's time to start for people to come in and pick these up. Like you can't even just walk in and like go buy food that day. KFC is shut down except for people who are
Yes,
coming
you have to
in.
go through the drive-through.
Yeah. Oh, they won't let you come in because they let me come into the one up there by us.
With this
You could
one,
walk in.
I got a little note,
There's
and it
drive-through
said, like,
only.
"I'm sorry," because it's obviously like directly translated
Oh yeah.
in Google Translate, and it said, "I'm sorry for this selfish inconvenience,
That's such a Japanese thing to say.
but it will only be available through the drive-through to prevent the three C's.
Three C's?
Thank you
COVID,
very much."
COVID, cold, and
I don't know what the three C's are.
I
I
don't
have
know what the
absolutely no idea.
three C's are either.
Yep, but to prevent the three C's.
Well, all right. But cool beans. Whatever that is, I'm gonna have to message Yui now and ask her what the three C's are because now I'm like intrigued. I need to know what this is.
I don't know,
I don't know either.
but we can only go to the drive-through.
Okay, so that'll be good. Yeah,
Yeah, and then Christmas
KFC's a
cake.
thing.
It is a thing in Christmas cake. All the convenience stores, you order like a Christmas cake.
Hmm.
Yeah, again, marketing genius.
Yes. And these
Because
are like
Christmas in Japan
convenience
is like
stores,
more about
everybody.
couples
Yes.
than it is about like your family.
It's a huge date night. It's the biggest date night of the Japanese year, bigger than Valentine's Day and White Day, which they celebrate Valentine's Day, but there's a little bit of difference. That is primarily for men, and then White Day is for women, which is in March. But Christmas Eve is the biggest romantic holiday of like date night of
Yes,
the year. And then they don't take
more
off on
random.
Christmas Day. Like they all go to school. They
Yeah,
don't take it off. It's just a day. It's still Christmas. They decorate, they do all the things, but it's still just Christmas. But yes, we did KFC for our last Christmas there also. Um, just so that we could say we did it and kind of go through that tradition, and it was fun. But you had to order them early enough because some of the KFCs sell out really fast if they're in really like popular areas, so you have to be really like careful about that. Well, I'm so glad you're doing that. But
yeah, I'm
yay.
excited. It's gonna be fun.
We're gonna jump over to random recommendations. And do you remember what Lacey's was?
Oh, how she labels the people's gifts.
Yes. Hers, she was
This is so
sneaky.
creative.
It
This like,
is.
and it's so Lacey too. Like I was like, yeah, of course she did that. Because
Yeah.
it's so creative and so Lacey. So she puts the gifts under the tree, and for the kids to not know who's getting what, she doesn't just like do numbers. She does like different things. So this past year, she was saying that she did like herbs.
Yeah.
So each person was an herb, and they like, she also really likes it because they spend time guessing like who's who.
Who's who? Yeah. So she doesn't let
Yeah.
them know who the herb is until it's time so that they can't go through and like guess.
Yeah.
And I mean they can speculate, so like they
Yeah.
guess, but she doesn't tell them who they are um until it's time to start handing them all out. I forgot about that. Yeah. And but she changes it every year. We didn't
Yes.
ask
So it's
obvious.
not like an herb every year and everybody's a different herb. It's like a
Right.
completely different theme every year.
Every year. Yeah. I
God,
think
that's so
that's
cool.
it
You're so cool,
is.
Lacey.
I know. Lacey.
She's so cool.
She's
I
so
want
cool. She's over there still growing a human and being so cool. I feel it's fine. I
I
love
feel
her
so
anyway.
inferior.
Right? But it's fine. I don't actually, she can have all the babies though. I'll play with the babies and send them back to her. That's fine.
I was not that cool ever. Like, and especially not when I was growing a person. But
Right?
like, I, not that I ever was as like cool and thoughtful, but I definitely wasn't when I was growing a
When you were
person.
growing a person. Yeah,
Yeah.
growing a person is no joke. It's no joke. And she's handling it during Nutcracker season.
During Nutcracker
And
season,
if you need
twice.
Yeah. If you need to hear the chaos of all that, go back to a couple of our Nutcracker episodes and you'll understand why we are in awe that she is doing all of this stuff during
Yes.
Nutcracker season while growing a human being. And like Millie said, twice. Plus, who knows if she was growing when they were in California. I don't remember the
Yeah.
timeline if she was doing one then or not. But um So, my random recommendation is to, I haven't actually done it. I know this is sounding bad, but that's just because we haven't started wrapping presents yet. But is to like tie together your tape, your like pen and your scissors that you have specific to like wrapping. And if you're possible, tie them to a balloon so that even if they get covered up by paper and stuff, like you can see the balloon and you can pull on it and there they are. We'll see whether or not that actually like works. We're gonna have 15 people in this house in just a couple of weeks, and I will wrap for some of them and some of them I won't. So I probably will do that just so that at least that way it's not like yelling through the house, does anybody know what happened to these things? And we can also keep an eye if my toddler nephew goes running off with a pair of scissors, there's a balloon
There
floating
you
through the house wherever he's going. So catch the balloon. It's not, in fact, safe. Um,
go.
that's my random recommendation right now. Amelia, yours intrigues me.
So gingerbread houses for our family always end in tears because the stupid royal icing they give you like doesn't actually hold the house together.
No,
It holds the things on the house, but it never holds the stupid house
house
together.
together.
So, we don't eat our gingerbread houses. I don't
No,
actually know anyone who does eat their gingerbread
no.
houses. One year I was like, this is stupid. And I hot glued the gingerbread house together
Nice.
and then covered it in royal icing, and no one cried
I love that.
about the fact that the gingerbread house fell down. And I was like, that's genius.
Yes,
I am I am genius. So
you are
I
genius.
hot glue our gingerbread houses, but the rest of the world does not use royal icing. They use caramel
Huh, huh.
to keep their gingerbread houses together.
I mean,
So if you
you're
want to eat it,
if it'll stick your teeth together, it'll stick a gingerbread house together, so that makes
yeah,
sense.
if you want to make your gingerbread house stuck together, you and to be able to eat it, use caramel. If you don't care, hot
Yeah,
glue.
hot glue. I'll go with
Yeah,
your. We haven't started ours yet, so hot glue gun is coming out when we do. And
there's literally no reason not to.
well, and you end up using so much royal icing to try to make it stick together that you don't
And it
actually have
never
any.
works.
It never
It
works.
literally never works.
And then it doesn't, you don't have any to actually decorate with because it's all like
Yeah.
gloopy on the sides and
Like,
hard
it's
and
cheating. I'm not entering a gingerbread making contest. I'm trying to make my 8-year-old happy.
which is 100% worth it. So suck it,
Yeah.
everybody.
Like, we're not, like, I am not like, if you are entering some sort of competition, I do not endorse this. Like, do not cheat.
Right.
Don't use the glue gun. I guess if it has to be edible, you could use the caramel. Like, you really
There
could.
you go. Yeah.
If it has to be edible, unless they have some sort of rule about icing. Like, I am not telling you to cheat at your gingerbread contest. I'm telling you, if your kids cry when their gingerbread houses fall down, you're not eating that junk anyways. Glue it.
Glue it. I'm down. Glue it, everybody. That's the way to
Just
do it.
glue it.
Just glue it. And those are our recommendations for the year. It'll make your season so much happier, I think. So, or next year. If it's too late for you this year, write it down. Come back and listen to this next year in like November and do it
Yeah.
then instead. Thank you for listening today. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook at the Virtual Compound Podcast and drop a comment of your favorite tips to make the holiday season easier and super magical. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen so you never miss an episode, and we will see you in January. Merry Christmas!
Woohoo! Merry Christmas!
Ta da!